Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the movie Fight or Flight. Now, I on-demanded this from, Showtime plus Paramount plus kinda weird fuckery. It's always kinda weird when you try and figure out what was kind of going on with whatever packages you've got. But my dad had seen it and was like, hey, I think you might be interested in it. So we sat down, watched it, and it was actually really good. It does have a kind of mashup kind of feel of like Quentin Tarantino kind of craziness kind of going on. Also kind of on the realm of kind of Bullet Train, because we're put into a plane full of assassins and shit going on, and it works very well. It understands its budget and understands the space that it utilizes for all the action sequences going on in this movie. And Josh Hartnett is the main lead that we've got in here. And let me see. Yeah, I know him mainly from like 30 Days of Night. But he did really good in this, and I would be fine if this is like a one and done kind of thing, but I wouldn't mind if they kind of made this into a kind of franchise of what goes on because of the kind of crazy and kookiness that kind of goes on with it. So we pretty much are introduced to this dude that's like going about his day, boop, 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 and then he's like, fuck! And then sees that evidently there was this raid that was going down trying to get this elusive kind of ghost person, and the ghost pretty much fucks them over, and they're pretty much escaping. We then get introduced to Katie Sackhoff's character, Brunt, I believe. Yes, Brunt. And she does well as the kind of head one in charge, as she's pretty much taking to task Hunter and trying to figure out what's kind of going on here. Evidently, according to Hunter, somebody sent off this team to try and pretty much do their own kind of thing, and any other team is about like an hour out. So they're trying to figure out what to do on the ground, and Brunt then decides to give a call to Lucas Reyes, who is Josh Hartnett's character, and he's pretty much just like sleeping as this kid's pretty much trying to take his money and shit, but he then kind of wakes up and just drinks his shit and lets the kid have the money and shit as he takes a cigarette from him. Tries to figure out kind of what's going on, getting breakfast, pretty much getting booze and shit like that from this kind of bar lady before Brunt pretty much tries to get in contact with them. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, and 2 years ago some kind of thing happened, and we learn later on throughout the movie that he was pretty much in with the Secret Service, and that he was pretty much tasked with protecting this diplomat. However, this diplomat was a dick shit and was beating on prostitutes, and he went Hambo on him, and was like, yeah, but then the dude's connections was pretty much with this either director or deputy director of the CIA, and pretty much he's been pretty much locked in like Bangkok because he's put on a no-fly list. Let's see. Yeah, that's not put in here, but he was like, I'm not doing that shit. And of course we get pulled throughout this movie that if he goes by these people's ethics, he'll compromise himself. But if he goes by his ethics, even though he's going to be put in kind of like bad, fucked up kind of situations, he'll still kind of come out on the end. So he's pretty much arguing with them. He gets pretty much beset by these people that are pretty much been sent by the diplomat's brother to kill his ass or take his ass out on any kind of thing. But he gets out of the bar. He's kind of fucked up. Gets driven to the airport. This is where it gets a little bit gnarly, because they say that the ghost pretty much heads to the airport, and then it's a little bit wobbly on time passage, because Lucas gets there and it looks a lot later than you would think it would have taken him to get there, and that the ghost would probably been like fucked off by now. However, they got shot and injured in the kind of raid thing going on, and stopped evidently at a veterinarian's clinic to pretty much get patched up and shit. So we see that Brunt has come through. She gets him a passport and everything, gets him off the no-fly list, gets him on board of the plane, and we also get introduced to the flight stewards that are on this plane, Aisha and let me see, Royce. And Garrett is pretty much the head dude being like, yeah, smiles and shit, act all good for the passengers and all that. It's like, all right. And Lucas had a kind of like scare thing kind of going on with the passport, but he's able to get past it because it's kind of not like going well for the terminal. But this other dude comes in like, fuck it, you got to do it like this, and it works out. And he's like, all right, cool. So he's kind of getting there. He's pretty much in like the bougie kind of class and everything, and there's one dude's pretty much talking about like, what do I do for like my dance move and shit? I'm Cayenne, man, motherfucker. And he's like, alright. And pretty much goes to show why you do not accept drinks from people that you have not seen or know or prepared yourself. Because he's pretty much getting like drugged, and then he takes it to the bathroom like, yeah, you would take my bounty. It's like, the thing is like, what the fuck's going on here? And evidently everybody knows about the ghost. The ghost is like this pretty much hacker that fucks with a lot of people, but mainly it's kind of bad guys taking like crypto from like some generals and shit, stopping child labor and enslavement and all that kind of shit, and trying to help people as much as possible. So she's she's made a lot of enemies, because we find out that it's Aisha, the one stewardess, and that she's kind of wounded, but we see that everything's kind of like working out. Lucas has to like take out the Cayenne dude in the bathroom, and that's a pretty good scene. The thing is, it might jump cut a little bit more than I would like. However, it is confined spaces that they actually are able to jump to a good spot to showcase the action kind of going on. He's kind of drugged at this point, so it's like, fuck! And he even accidentally pretty much kills this dude, because there's like some kind of strange apparatus on the ceiling, and holy fucking shit! You'd probably be like, this is really weird. This is a lot of space in this plane. It's like, yeah, you're pretty much right. The bathroom for the first class had a fucking walk-in shower. Now, it's not a gigantic kind of walk-in. Like, it's like, I'm going to walk a mile to get into the shower. But it's like, holy fucking shit. And then he's pretty much trying to deal with this. He pretty much takes this kind of shampoo shit to pretty much vomit up the drugs and shit. And he's like trying to put the dude in the ceiling. That's when Aisha and Royce come and are like, hey, what the fuck's kind of going on? And they've also got a flight marshal with them, and he pretty much knocks that motherfucker out. And like, listen, I'm with the FBI. I'm trying to. There's like assassins and shit on here. Brunt and Hunter pretty much start like backing that out and pretty much giving the plot exposition on Lucas and trying to figure out what's kind of going on. However, we find out that they are working at an extra, like, it's mainly a kind of cover kind of company, but the thing is, they need the ghost alive. He needs the ghost, so he needs to get her out alive, and the rest of the people on the plane pretty much want her dead. So that's pretty much where everything kind of starts culminating. We start seeing them kind of working back and forth of what's going on. We see this one dude in the cargo hold pretty much giving weapons to certain kind of assassins up top before attempting to pretty much take out Aisha, and that, of course, gets Lucas to be like, you're the ghost, and pretty much trying to work together. Aisha's like, nah, I could pretty much fucking deal with your ass myself. And is like, you kind of want to deal with everything on here? And of course, she brings up the whole being trafficked as a child and a slave, but instead of being used for prostitution, she was used for her skills with like computers and programming and everything. She's also built what is pretty much like a quantum kind of computer thing to decrypt any kind of coding. And of course, that's pretty much what Hunter and Brunt are after. And we find out that Hunter initiated this whole kind of deal and pretty much brings Brunt in and is like, yeah, you could fuck me over, but whatever. There was a weird thing where they were like shitting on people that were doing yoga and talking about like participation trophies. It was really just kind of odd. It didn't really add much to what was kind of going on other than to make them kind of more assholes. But, I mean, them just kind of talking about what they were doing and fucking over kind of principles and everything like that to take this whole thing and keep this kind of supercomputer to themselves. And we see that Aisha pretty much has this supercomputer on the plane in this kind of strange little thing in the kind of cargo hold. So, we then see everybody pretty much coming for everybody else. They got to deal with these Italian dudes that start shooting up the plane and start doing crazy ass shit. We learn that Aisha actually has allies on there. Let me see. Master Leanne and two other of her hangers-ons are pretty much there because she pretty much helped them to protect their land from pretty much developers. And they're awesome kind of kung fu people that I wish they kind of got a little bit more screen time. But that's kind of okay. This thing is pretty much like 102 minutes. It doesn't really... There aren't really that many dead spots, and it doesn't feel like it hangs around too long, goes too fast, or goes too slow. We're like, okay, we got... The editing for that really works pretty well. We got a nice ebb and flow going on here. That's hard to accomplish on action movies, because if it's... It depends upon what happens with the action movie. If the story's boring, you're counting the minutes until you get to the next action scene, and you hope to God that action scene's good. It's kind of like games. If you know what the genre is, and it executes the gameplay well enough, but the story doesn't really hook you in, then you're just waiting for the gameplay elements to pretty much save your ass and get you through, and you're like, fuck this cutscene, fuck this thing. I don't care about that shit. Opposite is... If you've got a really good... If you're going for the game for the story and the gameplay sucks, that gets even kind of worse, because then you're like... the gameplay's the main interactive portion of it. And if you have to fight through that to get to the story, God help you on that. But here, no. We get nice character developments and moments of Lucas and Aisha understanding each other and trying to figure out what to do, because Lucas wants to go home. But then he's like... This person isn't a bad person, and I know if I give them over to any of these assholes, it's going to turn out worse for her, and it's going to turn out worse for everybody else, because they're going to have a supercomputer that can break any kind of encryption, and you're just giving it to those fucking assholes. Let's see. So they pretty much get to a point where he's kind of like fucked up. We had started pretty much the movie where everything's kind of going to shit, and person's like pretty much blasted out of a plane, and then we kind of get there as like, it's pretty much like ballroom blitz kind of shit going on as they're like fighting everything, and there's still people on this plane that are not assassins, so they're like, holy fucking shit, we have him fighting and taking down the triad people. It's like, how the fuck does that happen? And the thing is, we see him dealing with this one woman who then has like a champagne glass put into her eye, and then he fucking headbutts her and fucking puts that in to take her ass out, and then 3 other of her friends pop up, a 4th dude pops up, and then a 5th dude pops up that he's gotta fucking break their neck. It's like, holy shit. Now that one I can understand if you kind of lose track of like, how many fucking people are in here, and you're thinking auto-spawning Game of Thrones bullshit. The Dothraki were gone and fucked, and then somehow they came back. It's like, no. It's hard to follow, and I get that. And then we see them kind of like all tied up on a surveillance thing, and you're like, okay, cool. But seeing all the different kind of people going on, we see this one that has taken out a second kind of flight marshal, and he just fucking like ice picks her ass. Her eyes are freaky as shit. It's like, and he's thinking he's high on this fucking toad venom at this point, because Aisha had pretty much gotten all this shit, and he was kind of fucked up and stabbed a lot. So they pretty much were getting him all patched up down underneath the cargo hold. They were trying to keep everything at bay, but the assassins were pretty much trying to block Sin, so they came up with the plan of pretty much to have them kind of, Master Leanne and the others kind of work up on one kind of side to get them away from the main kind of cargo access door, and then Lucas would pop up and, like, crack ass. However, he thought he was taking adrenaline, and it was actually toad venom. He's like, I'm kind of fucked up right now, seeing some crazy ass fucking shit, and it works. It doesn't go too crazy to where it completely derails the movie, and you're like, what the fuck kind of art ass shit am I seeing? It stays within the realm of the crazy that we've been introduced to. So they pretty much take out a lot of the people. The pilots had to deal with the hull and go down to like 8,000 feet, and then these fucking like missionaries, I think, come in and pretty much kill them. And then Aisha and Lucas had to fucking fly the plane. It's like, all right, and they like kill him for like almost no reason. It's like, why the fuck did you do this? But they kind of fixed that up. Lucas is pretty much like, I'm gonna get fucking killed here. And she's like, thanks for doing what you're doing. And pretty much says, fuck it, I'm not giving her to you. And Brunt's like, shit. Let's see. So Brunt decides to pretty much kill Hunter and be like, yeah, fuck that. Oh, and then evidently the computer had been piloting the plane the whole time, which was her real escape plan, and that they weren't even going anywhere near the U.S. to pretty much, because it was supposedly from Bangkok to San Francisco. And it's like, all right, cool. And then Lucas pretty much passes out and then wakes up pretty much having like medical stuff on him, and then Aisha's coming in because things are blowing up. It's like, we gotta get out of here, man! Holy fucking shit! It's like, okay, it's like, all right, fine, fuck it, whatever. So I really actually liked the bond that these two started to have. Him calling her pretty much a 15-year-old. She's like, I'm fucking 25, man. Fuck off. But I understand that at a certain kind of point when you're like older at a certain thing, you're like, how fucking young. You're like, everybody almost looks like a baby, and you're like almost like in the ancient kind of realm territory where everybody's calling you fucking grandpa because you can't figure out which kind of meme status you're on at this point. But the thing is, I really do like them kind of like bringing up what kind of works and how they kind of operate, and there's good chemistry between the actors. Like, it's not a romantic kind of relationship. It's more like, all right, you are my ticket out of here. And then it's like, you know what? You're actually doing decent shit. Let me help your ass out. And it's not... It would almost be like older brother, younger sister kind of shit. Like, especially since he got fucked over by doing the right thing, and she's pretty much getting fucked over by doing the right things to fuck over these asshole people. And it still works out. I do like them bringing out Master Leanne to showcase that, yeah, I mean, she's been fucking over other, like, these powerful assholes, but there's still people in her corner. And Lucas becomes the next one to kind of work out on that. It's like, oh, okay. And I would just like to see what goes on next. Like, the action scenes were nice and competent, and it's pretty much a bigger kind of plane than you would think, but it's interesting. We had Bullet Train doing shit in a train, we had here doing it on a plane, and it worked well. I wonder what this thing, like this franchise, could do if they made it into a franchise where we have more space to play with, more tools to work with. I mean, shit, Aisha comes out of nowhere tossing a fucking chainsaw around, and that was well done action, where Lucas is pretty much just like taking people out, taking arms, putting them in, oh fucking shit, and shit's kind of going gnarly before we start losing Master Leanne and her two cohorts. It's just a crazy, freaky kind of one. Now, this is R-rated. Well, is it R-rated? Everybody did a really good job in this. I don't know. It's funny. The thing is, now certain R-raters kind of remind me more of PG-13ers at this point of what's kind of going on. It's like, all right, I mean, that's gnarly, but I used to see certain kind of stuff and be like, all right. Young kids would probably be freaked out with, like, blood, guts, and gore and trying to figure out what the fuck's kind of going on here. So see how the kid can handle it, because otherwise you're gonna need to explain some weird shit. Well, not completely weird. No, not completely weird shit. It wasn't on the kind of level when I saw Matrix Reloaded and there was like a sex scene and whatnot. I'm like, I'm not fucking interested in this, so I'm just like, are we done yet? Can we move the plot, please? Because there wasn't anything like that in the first one, even though that was kind of like, oh, look at shit. There's some weird-ass, crazy-ass shit going on. And there's a naked man in a fucking pod. And what the fuck's going on with batteries and shit? You don't have to explain that kind of level, but it's like, it's kind of stylized. Violence. Be careful if you're squeamish. Yeah, it's kind of gnarly, so just watch out for that. It's not to the level of like, oh my god, this looks really fucking real. But it's also not on the... on the complete level. You could be like when we switched to the lady with her like head popping blood out because Lucas had fucking cracked it with the climbing gear kind of pickaxe thing. Yeah, you could be like, yeah, that's really kind of cartoonish. And I don't mind it when it's done to that kind of level where it's like hyper stylized and hyper realized. It's really when it's done realistically when you're like, like seeing some of the like arm breaks and leg breaks and shit. You're like, oh goddamn, watch that shit. The fucking like football one where that, no. But yeah, I would recommend this to action movie aficionados, both because of the story and the action. I think they marry it pretty well. Now, if you disagree with me on that, that's quite alright. I totally get that, and if you don't like it, that's cool. But I really liked it, and I would definitely watch it again and say that it's worth it. I'm like, alright, 2025, this is a good one. So, those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.